Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and the translation of that message, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nash, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? I am a woman that is aged 56 years old. As for now, I am staying with my daughter here in Botswana. My child is married to a man here in Botswana. All of my children, they are married to foreigners. I don't know why they chose to get married to foreigners and marry foreigners, even though I fought with them for a very long time. If it was not for that South African woman, maybe I would have managed to tell my children what to do. But now I do not have the same power that I used to have before I had challenged my daughter-in-law. I did not even know that my daughter-in-law, she was that much of a prayer warrior, and my daughter-in-law, she defeated me. I was once a powerful witch. So my children, all of them, they left their own country and they went to different countries. My sons, they went to South Africa, and my daughter and her cousin sister, they then chose to come to Botswana. As time went on, that was when I started to notice that all of my children, they are dating foreigners, and I started fighting with them because I always wanted my children to marry in our village, which is in Mondoro. I grew up in Mondoro. My mother, she was a witch. She told me that she was a witch when I was only 12 years old. This was after I had been taken by her mother, who was also staying in Mondoro but in another village. So I had gone there. At night I would wake up and I would find out that my grandmother and I, we would be sitting on top of a grave, and the way that we will be sitting, my grandmother, she will be like driving a car, and in the morning when I would ask her, she would refuse and she will say that no such thing ever happened last night. When I returned back home, I then told my mom about all of these weird dreams that had been happening when I was with my grandmother. My mother then confessed to me that indeed she was a witch. My grandmother, she was a witch, and she was also a witch. She told me that the reason as to why I had seen all the things that I had seen, it was because it was time in order for me to also participate in what she and her mother had been participating in, and she wanted me to also to become a witch. I did not understand what it even meant. At night, me and my mother, we then sat outside. This was after we had made porridge that was made out of sorghum, and this porridge, it did not have salt, it did not have any sugar. My mother then started whistling. We were seated at the back of this other mud hut. When my mother was busy whistling, that was when I saw that there was a snake that came down from the mountain. This snake came first, then after the snake had came, that was when I saw a hyena. The hyena also came down from the mountain, and then my mother introduced me to her other children. My mother told me that these were her firstborn children that she had given birth to when she was still very young. She was only 14 years old after he had been introduced to witchcraft by her own mother, and she had given birth to these creatures of the night, and she said that they survive on the flesh of humans that she feeds them, and they survive also on the porridge that she always give to them that is made out of sorghum. She told me that this was my duty to always make sure that I always feed them this. So Brother Nashi, I then started to get so interested in whatever that my mother would teach me, and my mother told me that it was something that was very important. My mother said that it is very important, and I also want you to know that it is important to know that when you are a witch, you will be able to control anyone, and any person that will fight against you, you will be able to defeat that person. Is that what you want, my daughter? I then told her that I was very much interested in defeating all of my enemies, even at school. So my mother then initiated me into witchcraft. After I had been initiated into witchcraft, that very same night I had a dream. I saw myself, I was in the hotel. I had never been in a hotel, and being someone that was born in the villages, I did not even know what a hotel was like, but I found myself, I was inside of a hotel, and this hotel, it had a very beautiful bed. And then I got onto the bed and I saw that there was a man that walked into the hotel room where I was. This man then gave me clothes to wear, those nice clothes that you wear in the bedroom just to please your man. And then I started to wear those clothes. The man then came and he started touching me, and we started sleeping with each other. And after we had finished sleeping with each other, I then started to notice that my body, it was reacting, and I was now pregnant within a very short period of time. I then noticed that I was pregnant and I gave birth. When I gave birth to a little hyena as well as a snake that could fit into my hands, and I was told that this was the children that were going to take care of me, and I was supposed to take care of them at all the times. This I was told by that man whom I had slept with, and the man that had impregnated me. He told me that he was my husband and he would regularly be with me. He would always visit me for all of my life, and even if I would get married, he told me that I should always remember and I should always know that I belong to him. Since we already had kids that we had together, in the morning I woke up and my mother asked me if I had any dream. I told my mom about the dream that I had the previous night, which was very weird to me. My mother told me that there was nothing that was weird about the dreams that I had. Everything that I had dreamt of, that dream, it was for real. So, Brother Nashi, I saw a little snake one day when I was returning back from school. This snake kept on following me. I even wanted to tell my friends that there was a snake that kept on following us, but I was just scared to tell my friends. When I arrived back home, my mother then told me that I had done good. And I asked her, what did she mean when she said that I had done good? My mom then said that you have done good because you saw a snake and you did not tell your friends. And I asked my mom how she had managed to know that I had a snake that I had seen. My mom then said that it is that very same snake that you gave birth to. It is your child. Don't you know that you have a child? Then I remember that, oh yeah, I once had a dream, and in my dream I saw a snake. And then my mom told me that this was my child. So I would go to school with this snake. In class, I was always with this snake. If it happened that there was a teacher in our class that I did not like, I would make that teacher to just get sick. There was this other geography teacher of ours. She was pregnant at that time. She was very nasty. She always had a nasty habit about her. So then one day when she was in our classroom, I then told my snake that I just wanted the snake to do something about this teacher that would always get nasty and beat us for no reason at all. So then that was when my snake came out of my backpack that I would carry to school, and then the snake, it went and it beat this teacher of mine. It beat her very hard. She even screamed in pain. She then went out. On that very same day, she had a miscarriage, Brother Nashi, and in her dream she even saw me. She was even scared of me at all the times. She suspected that there was something about me that was really evil. Even if she would beat everyone in the classroom, she would always avoid beating me because she always knew that there was something about me that was very evil. My mother passed away after my mother had passed away, I stayed with her hyena as well as her snake for about a year, and then they both died since their mother had already died as well, who was also my mother. After they had died, and then I kept on taking care of my own snake, and I had my own kids with my husband. As for my husband, I just used charms on him. My husband, he used to be a married man. He was a driver. He used to deliver some items at the place where I was working at that time. So I then ended up using charms on him so that he can fall in love with me. Since he was some sort of a womanizer, I ended up realizing that this was what he was like, and I hated for him when I found out that he was a womanizer. So then that was when I decided to use charms on him. It started by me just wanting to punish him for all the bad things that he had done when he had lied to me that it was only me and him. Even though he was a married man, I did not mind him having a wife. But when he started cheating on me, I then said that this man, what does he think he is, that he can lie to me in a very painful way like this? And then that was when I started to use charms on him. I used charms on him. He ended up breaking up with his wife, and I fell pregnant for him. After I had fallen pregnant for him, we then started staying together, and we had our children. When I saw that my husband was no longer useful to me as a wife, I just decided to use him, and I fed his flesh to the hyena and to the snake. When we were at his funeral, Brother Nashi, my hyena as well as my snake, they were busy enjoying the flesh of my own husband. The situation in our country got so bad, the company that I was working for, it then decided to close down, and my children, they started to migrate, moving out of our country, and they started to go to work for in other countries. As for my sons, they then decided that they wanted to come and to stay in South Africa. When they came to stay in South Africa, I did not even know that they will end up getting married to South Africans, because I had already used charms on my sons, because I wanted them to eventually get married, to only get married to my friends' daughters, because I wanted this witchcraft to always remain in the family. I did not want witchcraft to be said that it has ended in my family because of me, because my grandmother had successfully been given the spirit of witchcraft by her own grandmother, and then as for my own mother had been given the spirit of witchcraft by her own mother, and I had been given the same witchcraft by my own grandmother. But all of a sudden, now that I was the one that was left behind in control of the spirit of witchcraft, then all of my sons, they wanted to get married to the women of their choices, and I did not want my sons to get married to women that were not Zimbabwean. But I never thought that it was going to happen, because at that time I had already used charms. I had already used charms on my sons when they were still very young. This is what I used to do when my children were very young. I knew that my children, I did not want them to get married to the women that they were going to choose. So what I did to some others, they can consider it to be something that is very evil, because when I would breastfeeding my sons, I would take their manhood. This is done if you do not want your son's manhood to be big. If you want your son to have a very small, like a very, very tiny, small manhood, you take your breast when you are busy breastfeeding him, and then you just rub the manhood on your breast so that his manhood can touch your nipple. This will make the manhood to stop growing, and it will always be that small. So I did this because I knew that if my son's manhood were too small, then it meant that other women will reject them, but the daughters of my friends who were witches, they would accept, they would accept my sons, because to them, my sons will just be a means to a greater end of being able to have daughters by a man whose mother is also a witch, which is considered to be something which is very powerful. And I did not even care about my sons. I really do not care about my sons. I only care for my daughter, because I wish for her to become a witch like I am. So when my sons were all grown up, I knew the size of their manhoods, and I knew that they will never be able to get the woman of their choice, because a woman will always see them as a lesser man. They migrated and they went to South Africa. When they would tell me that they are dating South African women, I did not care. I would rather celebrate that these South African women will finish off their money and they will run back to me. And when they come to me, then I will be able to tell them that you need to get married to a Zimbabwean woman. This was my decision that I had taken as a mother. So I was surprised when my son told me that he had impregnated a South African woman. I was like, how did it happen? Because as for the charms that I had done, my sons, they are not going, and they are not supposed to impregnate a woman whom I have not chosen, a woman that I have not blessed her womb. So I then told myself that what had happened, it was just something that was a mistake, or maybe that South African woman had been impregnated by someone else. It was not my grandchild that she was carrying. The baby was born, even though I tried by all means. I would visit my son in South Africa. They would even be surprised when I would visit my son and the woman that she was staying with. And I did not even know that she was a prayerful woman, because I just said to myself, if this woman can sleep with my son without them getting married, then it means that she is far from God, because what they are doing, as far as I knew, it was simple adultery. They were living in sin. How will God protect a woman that was living in sin? It even boggled my mind. So I would visit them with charms, and these charms that I would be carrying to South Africa, they were supposed to make this woman to have a miscarriage, but that woman, she never had a miscarriage. She carried the child until it was 9 months, and she gave birth, and the son that was born, it was my son's own child, and I could not even believe it. I kept on using the charms. There was even one time when I visited her. After I had visited her, she saw me. To her, it was like a vision. She saw me when I was with my friends. I visited her, and I wanted to bewitch her and to make her join witchcraft. And she woke up and she started praying, and she cast me out of her house in the name of her Jesus. And I was powerless at that time. I was unable to do anything. I was powerless. She saw everything that had happened, and in that very moment, that was when she realized that a mother-in-law is a witch. So, Brother Nashim, when I saw that I was unable to defeat my own daughter-in-law, I even tried my other friends, and I would travel to South Africa with one of my friends, thinking that if maybe we would try to fight with him at the same time, being many of us, we would be able to defeat him. Until my friend, who used to be a witch, ended up confessing. She confessed, but not to him, but she confessed to this other pastor in that very same location that my son and the wife stays in. She even went there without me even knowing that this is what she had done. She just pretended as if she wanted to go somewhere else, and when she had gone out, that was when she went to this other pastor, and she told the pastor everything that had brought us to South Africa, and the way that we had tried to fight against the in-law, my daughter-in-law, and how we had not managed to succeed in each and everything that we had done, and how she had seen that the God that was being worshipped by my daughter-in-law was a very powerful God, and she begged the pastor to never tell this woman that we had been fighting against, that this is what we had done. So then she gave her life to Christ at that very moment. That was when she gave her life to Christ, and I did not even know that she had given her life to Christ. When I would wake up at night, when I would try to wake her up so that all of us, we can go into my daughter-in-law's bedroom so that we can bewitch her, surprisingly, she would tell me that she was too sick and too tired, and then she said that she wanted to return back home to tend her fields, and we returned back to Zim. When we had a meeting, she was not there when we had the meeting, and then we found out that my best friend, she was no longer a witch, and she did not want to be a witch anymore. This is what happened, Brother Nashi, when my friend gave her life to Christ. As for me, I refused. When I confronted her about this, she told me that I was also supposed to give my life to Christ, because now she knew that the God that my daughter-in-law worships is a true God. But I did not want that. I said I will never, and never will I ever repent, because I believe that the God that I own save, even if it is a God of witchcraft, is much more powerful than the God that my daughter-in-law believes in. And I have my own mission. Witchcraft is going to stay in the family, and witchcraft will never go anywhere. This is my own confession. When you post my story, please tell me. I'll be following through in the comment section. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. She's saying that no matter what, she has made a decision in her life that witchcraft, the spirit of witchcraft, will never leave her family. The spirit of witchcraft will always be in her family. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Let us try to speak with our dear sister in the comment section. She is saying that right now she is in Botswana. Where she is right now, she is trying to initiate her own daughter into witchcraft. Let us meet again in the following episode.